Hello, this is Amanda Everard, President of JTE Communications. Thank you for joining me for part 2 in my series on how to track your social media marketing goals using analytics. I know being told to measure your analytics to track your goals is not helpful unless you know how to do it, so let's get into it. In part 1, we looked at measuring brand awareness and how to use the analytics tools provided by Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Today, we're going to talk about measuring brand engagement. Brand engagement is the process of building relationships with your clients or customers. You can effectively use billboards, radio or TV commercials, print or digital advertising to raise awareness of your brand. These are what marketers would call a push or a broadcast media. You strategically push your message out to where your audience hopefully already is looking. You may include a call to action and hope that your audience responds, but ultimately this is a one-way form of communication. Social media is uniquely suited for engagement because it's dynamic. Not only can you see people's reactions to your messaging in real time, but people can reach out to you by asking questions or leaving comments. Engagement is important because people who make a real human connection with you and your brand are more likely to utilize your business, use your services, and recommend you to their friends and colleagues. Thankfully, your favorite social media platforms have made it relatively easy to measure engagement with your audience. When you know how to track this data, you can see how effectively your actions on social media are increasing engagement with your brand. Key metrics to look at will include likes, shares and retweets, comments and replies, messages, and mentions. Let's look at how. Let's start with Facebook. Here's the Facebook page Insights page. Remember, there is no need to get overwhelmed by all of the features available with any of these tools if you're focused on your goals. Some of the metrics that indicate engagement are the same as those that indicate awareness, and those include page followers and page likes. But when looking at engagement, total reach is not a concern. Here we want to look not just at how many people saw your content, but how many people took some sort of action in relation to that content. The Actions on Page tab will show you some of the engagement that takes place at the page level. Depending on what information you have published on your page, it may or may not be relevant for you to track the number of people who went to your page and clicked on Get Directions, website, phone number, or another action button. Next, let's take a look at the Reach tab. Here you can look at the number of times people recommended your page in any post or comments. This chart looks at actions people have taken in regards to your posts, specifically at their reactions, comments, shares, and more. Reactions include selecting any of the options in the like menu, which now includes love, care, haha, wow, sad, and angry. This chart also shows you how many comments were made on your posts, how many times your posts were shared, and other, which includes clicking on a link or button on your post. If you post videos on your page, you can also see additional engagement metrics for your videos right here. You can look at the total minutes of video watched by all viewers, as well as the number of times your videos were watched for at least 3 seconds. Similarly, if you're publishing stories or events, you can see data for engagement with that content in their respective tabs. So how about Instagram? To find that data, you're going to have to turn to the app on your phone. From your profile page, tap the Insights button. Here, under Audience, you can see your total number of followers and how this compares to the previous week or month. Below Overview, you can see the total number of interactions with your content over this period. By clicking on this line, you can see a more detailed breakdown of what those interactions were, either likes or comments, and where they happened, on your posts, stories, or Instagram TV or IGTV videos. You can find more detailed data on engagement with your posts by clicking on See All under Top Posts. Here, you can look at data not only for the last 7 or 30 days, but also for the last 3 or 6 months, and last year or the last 2 years. You can filter this report by post type and look at all interactions or at each of the different types of interactions, such as button taps, saves, and shares. You can also find more detailed data on your IGTV videos by clicking See All under Top Videos. In addition to likes and comments, you can also see views, saves, shares, and views. Lastly, you can also find more information on engagement with your stories, including the number of taps on your buttons, link clicks, forwards, and shares. Next up is Twitter. To find engagement data, you'll want to look at View All Tweet Activity anywhere on this analytics page. Here you can choose any date range you want to look at. In Twitter, engagement is going to be clicks, retweets, replies, follows, and likes. Twitter shows us an overall engagement rate, which is the number of engagements divided by the number of total impressions. On the left, you'll see a list of all your tweets over your selected period and the post level data. On the right, you'll find charts with your aggregated data. This top chart shows you your average engagement rate over the period, and you can scroll over peaks to see data for specific days. You can effectively use this chart alone to track changes in brand engagement on Twitter. You can also look at more detail to see how people are engaging with your content by looking at the below charts that show linked clicks, retweets, likes, and replies. Next, let's look at LinkedIn. From the homepage page, there's a visitor analytics link that will take you where you need to go. Under the followers menu, you'll find your total followers as well as the number of new followers in the last 30 days with a comparison of how this month compared to the last one. Under the Updates menu, you'll find the number of reactions, comments, and shares your content has had over the last 30 days. In this top chart, you can select any time range and set the metric to engagement rate to get a big picture view of how you're doing. Depending on how you set your time range, you can look at a daily view or a monthly view. If you want to look at more detailed data, you can change the metric to view clicks, reactions, comments, or shares. For YouTube, you're going to want to go to the YouTube Studio in the top right menu, where you can find links for analytics. The Overview tab is going to show you your total watch time as well as your subscribers. Under the Engagement tab, you can see both the total watch time and the average view duration. Unfortunately, this chart is only focusing on engagement of people hitting play on your videos. To see better engagement data, you're going to need to click on the Advanced Mode tab. But don't get overwhelmed. Let's show you exactly how to do it. By default, this is going to pull up a line chart of views by video over the past 7 days. You can adjust the time period you would like to see at the top right. Now, if you have a lot of videos and a lot of views, this chart might look a bit intimidating, but please bear with me. Beneath the chart is a data table that shows you your total views, watch time, subscribers, and other metrics. Here at the top of this table, there's a plus sign that you can click on to add metrics to your table. You can add columns to show engagement metrics such as comments, shares, likes, and dislikes. You can click on the Options menu at the top left of any column to hide metric, to remove it from your table to simplify your view. And you can use the same menu to show any metric you'd like to see in the chart above. So that's it for today's look at measuring brand engagement on social media. If there's an additional social media platform that I missed, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments or send me an email at amanda@jtecoms.com. Brand engagement is the second of 6 social media marketing goals I plan to cover, so please check back for more next week. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me.